Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Our special guest of honor, Sri Pradeep Keruka, Executive Chairman, Borosil Renewables Limited and Borosil Limited. All the guest speakers, dear members, friends from the industry, Mr. Rajesh Nath, Managing Director, VDMA India, and co-moderator of our today's session. A very hearty welcome to all of you in today's webinar on sustainability engineering, driven by the renewable energy, organized by VDMA India in association with 3 VDMA members, ARGO-HYTOS, HARTING, and SAP. We hope all of you and your families and the employees are all safe and doing well. I am Sandeep Roy, based out of the Kolkata office of VDMA, and will be taking you through the initial part of today's webinar. Friends, before you enter the main phase of the webinar, a very brief introduction on VDMA. VDMA is the largest industrial association in Germany and also in the whole of Europe of the plant and machinery equipment manufacturer. Established around 129 years before, with more than 3,300 members at present and over 1.1 million employees, VDMA caters to 36 engineering specialized verticals. Our members produce machinery worth of euro 205 billion in 2020, out of which is exported to 78%. Friends, sensing the potential of the BRIC nations in the early 90s, VDMA decided to establish its first foreign offices in India, followed by China, Brazil, and Russia. For ease of coordination, VDMA has also offices in Brussels for European Union and also an office in Japan. Before we continue, we'd like to remind all of you that you can post all your questions in the chat box and that will be answered during the Q&A sessions. Now, friends, I'd like to invite Mr. Nath for his welcome address. Mr. Nath is the VDMA since inception around 2 decades before. He has more than 29 years of experience working in various industries, both in India and Germany. He is accorded the Cross of the Order of Merit, the highest civilian award from the German president for promoting Indo-German trade. He has a degree in mechanical engineering with distinction. He is also a business management degree, a first-rank gold medalist from the Indian Institute of Management, JOCA, in 2014. Without further delay, I hand over the proceedings to Mr. Nath.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep. Good afternoon to all the members and friends from the industry. The German Engineering Federation, VDMA, along with the esteemed members, ARGO-HYTOS, HARTING India, and SAP, welcome you to this web seminar on sustainability engineering, driven by renewable energy. A hearty welcome also to our chief guest today, Mr. Pradeep Keruka, Executive Chairman, Borosil Renewables Limited. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Keruka. Pleasure to have you with us today. Friends, India is set to experience the largest increase in energy demand of any country worldwide over the next 20 years as its economy continues to develop and bring prosperity to its citizens. Indian renewable energy sector is the 4th most attractive renewable energy market in the world. India was ranked 5th in wind power, 5th in solar power, and 4th in renewable power installed capacity as of 2019. Installed renewable power generation capacity has gained pace over the past few years, posing a compounded annual growth rate of about 17.3% between financial year 2016 to 20. With the increased support of government and improved economics, this sector has become attractive from investors' perspective. The government is aiming to achieve 227 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity, which includes about 114 gigawatts of solar capacity addition and 67 gigawatts of wind power capacity by 2022, more than its 175 gigawatt target as per the Paris Agreement. As of February 2021, installed renewable energy capacity stood at 94.43 gigawatt. From April 2015 to February 2021, India has added about 117.9 gigawatt of power generation capacity, including 64.5 gigawatt of conventional source and 53.4 gigawatt from renewable sources. Friends, as per the data released by Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, FDI inflow in the Indian non-conventional energy sector stood at USD 9.83 billion between April 2000 and December 2020. More than USD 42 billion have been invested in India's renewable energy sector since 2014. The government is committed to increased use of clean energy sources and is already undertaking various large-scale sustainable power projects and promoting green energy heavily. In addition, renewable energy has the potential to create many employment opportunities at all levels, especially in the rural areas. India's renewable energy sector is expected to attract investment worth US $780 billion in the next 4 years. It is expected that by 2040, around 49% of the total electricity will be generated by renewable energy, as more efficient batteries will be used to store electricity, which will further cut the solar cost by 66% as compared to the current cost. As per Central Electricity Authority estimates, by 2029-2030, the share of renewable energy generation would increase from 18% to 44%, while that of thermal is expected to reduce from present 78% to around 52%. These transformations, on a scale no country has achieved in history, require huge advances in innovation, strong partnership, and vast amount of capital. The additional funding for clean energy technologies required to put India on sustainable path over the next 20 years is around 1.4 trillion US dollars. The benefits are huge, including savings of the same magnitude on oil import bills. Friends, it is now my proud privilege to invite our chief guest, Mr. Pradeep Keruka, for his address. However, before that, I would like to briefly introduce Mr. Keruka. Mr. Pradeep Keruka, Executive Chairman, Borosil Renewable Limited and Borosil Limited, is an industrialist actively associated with the glass industry for over 50 years. He has led key R&D initiatives to take Borosil to the forefront in developing groundbreaking products globally, such as the world's first fully tempered solar glass in 2 mm thickness and world's only antimony free textured solar glass. So a pleasure and privilege for us to have you join today, Mr. Keruka. And over to you, Mr. Keruka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nath, for your kind words. I had sent a presentation. My people have sent it. Will you be putting that up? I mean, will somebody?
Yes, we'll just put it up.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure for me to be speaking about renewable energy today. It goes without saying, I think the presentation which we had from VDMA and also the words that Mr. Rajesh Nath has used clearly and categorically illustrate the need for building up capacity of producing renewable energy. And we are all seeing the devastating fires that are sweeping the northwest United States, and the temperatures in Death Valley have risen to 54.4 degrees centigrade, which is an absolute record for that area of the world, which has of course been very hot. Temperatures in Vancouver, I'm told, have been well above 45 degrees, and these are not normal. These are not normal temperatures. So if you can have the next slide, please. Can I? I don't think I can control it. So I'll have to request somebody to please take the next slide.
It's already done, Mr. Keruka. There's a slight lag in the slide being displayed, so just bear with me. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I won't stop talking. Basically, the slideshow was just there was a picture of the Northwest Pacific up in virtually in flames, and I am really worried that right now we are seeing forests catch fire. What happens if crops catch fire? What happens if large hectares of plantations carrying wheat and other pulses and other crops, constituting food that we eat? If that suffers in the heat wave, we could enter a kind of a drought situation or a famine situation, which is unprecedented. There are too many people who have doubted the fact of climate change in the world, including sometimes the President of the United States himself, who has doubted it, and the results are disastrous, the consequences. And it's not because I happen to be in the business of renewables that I am talking like this. I speak like this as a concerned citizen of the world, and we have seen already last year when there was a lockdown across the world. We saw dolphins in Venice. We saw the clean skies. We saw all kinds of birds, which we have not seen elsewhere, other than the wild. And we saw these things, and we all felt that we were breathing a great sigh of relief. So when we speak of the cost, there is a cost in terms of the natural wealth, of the earth that we are expending in this sort of way. There's a cost in terms of our health. There's a cost in terms of pollution. All of these costs we do not always factor in. Then look at the way the pandemic has swept the world. Now, we may not directly link the pandemic with pollution, but the fact remains that with an unpolluted environment, hopefully, spread of disease will be less, and people will be less sick. So that is something where if we can reduce our cost on healthcare, that itself would be a great reduction. Then I come to the question of national wealth. You see, I don't have the slightest doubt in my mind that solar energy from photovoltaics has taken pride of place in terms of being the lowest cost, most easily installed, least least demand in terms of engineering skill, fairly simple to set up. Everything in the world which is generating energy must be handled with very great care, and I'm the last man to say that it can be done by simple by simple electricians. I think it does need experts, but I believe that solar energy is what is going to bring relief to this planet in very large measure. But solar energy is not everything, and we need to tap all forms of renewable energy, indeed, including wind, including tidal currents, and any other forms that the scientists might be able to deliver to us. And we play a small role in this. We make solar glass. We are the largest non-Chinese owned solar glass producer in the world today. And we are ramping up production in India. So these are some of the costs that I was talking about: economical costs paid by nations, costs associated to depleting natural resources, and those associated with health. These are all very important costs that we cannot factor out. We just cannot keep thinking of euros and dollars and cents and rupees, but these are very important costs. So the way I see that this is going to be of great benefit. I speak from India, about India, because I'm familiar with India. I know that the installation of solar power, the generation of the production of the means to generate solar power, by that I mean the production of panels, of cells, of wafers, ingots, polysilicon, other balance of materials which are required to set up solar farms. All of this creates an enormous potential to create jobs and upskilling the youth. We shall need an army of engineers to set up this whole infrastructure for manufacturing. In view of the fact that the world is awash with money, I feel that finances will be available to so many people who are able to set up their own solar power generation. I mean, talking of householders. And with the advent of electric vehicles, I feel that the cost in each household today associated with buying fuel for running their cars is going to come down. And okay, we forget about Teslas. Let's talk more about Volkswagen style vehicles, which are general vehicles meant for city driving and things like that. You know, the cost of production of these cars is going to be a lot lower. Battery technology is going up a lot. The lithium ion, which is used in batteries, I'm told by a gentleman who is the world's second largest producer of these batteries. He went to school with me, interestingly. So I spoke to him about recycling. He said the lithium ion batteries are eminently recyclable without any loss of power. So when you are able to recycle a lithium ion battery, you can extract the lithium back from it, and you can use it again, all over again, to make a new battery, and there's no loss in it at all. It's much like glass, because we can recycle glass almost endlessly. There is no loss in glass when you recycle it. There's no fusion loss or any other loss. So basically, I see that these are sustainable technologies which are currently available, and that these would indeed help to take us forward to a future where even the cost of power generation is going to be lower than the cost of generating power from, let's say, a thermal power plant, which uses coal and releases lots of carbon gases to the atmosphere. So the growth in education, the finding of employment, the reduction in pollution, the improvement in the quality of life into which our next generations are going to be born and they will grow up, in every conceivable way. I think that renewable energy is very definitely a thing of the future, and it's really a godsend for us that we do have such technology already available today, which is sustainable. The other thing which sometimes everybody does not see is that, let's talk about India, for instance. Now, we have a balance of payments deficit today because the bulk of our money goes into the importation of petroleum, and the oil imports take a lot of money from the exchequer, and that leaves us with a deficit of foreign exchange. Now, if we stop using so much oil and restrict the use of oil to maybe say 35% or 40% of the current usage, then we shall be generating a surplus in our balance of payments. And the money saved by each household in fuel that they're using for normal transportation is also going to be spending power in their hands. And this will give a great opportunity for a lot of Indian industry to buy a lot of equipment from Germany, from VDMA companies. And we should be seeing a new future with a lot of growth. And as you can see from these two graphs, which are visible on the screen now, the price of solar power in India has dropped from 4.50 rupees per kilowatt to about 2 rupees a kilowatt hour. And so that's what about, I think it's less than, it's about 2.5 euro cents per kilowatt hour, which is very low. And we see that the projections for the dip in the cost of generation of wind and solar is likely to fall down to about 45% of what it is today in the next 30 years. So with these few words, I close my address, and I wish to thank you so much for having heard me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keruka and Mr. Nath, for setting the tone of the today's webinar, for your enriching statistics and information. Friends, moving forward, now I would like to introduce our speakers. Mr. Hans-Martin Welbinger, Manager, Renewable Industries, ARGO-HYTOS. Mr. Welbinger joined ARGO-HYTOS in 1997. In 2012, he took over the position as the Manager for the Renewables Industries at ARGO-HYTOS. He is also a member in the Wind Power Working Group or VDMA in Germany. Besides managing general activities in Reliance Industries, Mr. Weblinger has more than 30 years experience in filtration for hydraulics and lubrication, and he is also specialized in filtration system for the wind power application, and so also for the Renewables systems. Now I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Arvind Tekur. Mr. Tekur has done a degree in computer application and post degree in computer post application and diploma in electrical engineering. He is an accomplished senior marketing professional with wide experience in encompassing strategic planning, sales promotion in the field of power and renewable business. He also possesses the ability and the skill set to provide creative, innovative, enthusiastic, and forward-thinking leadership in a team environment focused on achieving the improved business performance. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Nikhil Chaturvedi. Mr. Chaturvedi is the Vice President for Industry Engineering, Energy and Natural Resource Sector for Asia Pacific and Japan. He is based in SAP office at Tokyo presently. His responsibilities encompass the digital transformation, advisory, industry strategy planning, thought leadership, sales support, generation, field training, and enablement. He is a frequent keynote speaker, presenter, and the panelist in industry events. He is also the member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers SPE and the American Chamber of Commerce in Japan. He has also authored various white papers in technical journals, social media, and a chapter on the web-based collaboration for natural resources industries for a book published by the IGA Publishers USA. A hearty welcome to all three of our speakers. And I also humbly request all the speakers to conclude their respective presentations within the due time, 15 to 18 minutes maximum. Now, friends, before inviting Mr. Weblinger, I would like to have our first poll question. Can I have the first poll question, please?
So, thank you, Mr. Roy, for introduction. Can I have the control for the?
Yeah. So before that, we'll have the first poll questions.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first poll question is: are you aware that ARGO-HYTOS India makes high-quality spare filter element, which is 1:1 equivalent for your current usage? So let's wait for a few seconds. See how the response come from the audience. What the audience feel about these questions, and then we go the answer. Yeah. So can we have the results, please? So it's a clear result. 79% is not aware, and only 21% is only aware. So I invite Mr. Weblinger to change the statistics after his presentations. I think it will be helpful for the audience also to know much about it. So over to you, Mr. Weblinger, for your presentation on wind energy, ARGO-HYTOS expertise, and your success.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just looking for.
Yeah, I'll just give you the controller.
So it does not work with my control.
Think, yeah, maybe a little lag in terms of data. Just wait for the timing. Yeah.
So I have also lost your screen now.
Yeah, so my screen is also showing the results. So Manohar, can you help us?
So I just see only the question.
Yes, I also. I think my colleague is working on the back end actually. I just wait for a second, please.
Yes. So now I see your pictures again.
Yeah, I think we'll just give you the control, I think.
Okay.
Here it comes in. Oh, it came and went again.
So now it should work.
Yeah. I just put it in a full screen mode. Yes. Perfect.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, thank you very much also from the for the interesting information, basic information from company process. Thank you very much for that. At least it's a pleasure to meet you at VDMA India. My name is, sorry, this is the first slide, of course, ARGO-HYTOS, we welcome you. And my name is Hans-Martin Weiblinger, and I'm responsible for the renewable energy market of ARGO-HYTOS. I would like to introduce our organization and products from ARGO-HYTOS under the aspect of sustainable engineering. Yeah, our chairman and of the board and owner, Mr. Christian 𝐒𝐻𝐧𝐚𝐢𝐧𝐚, have a vision and statement. We commit ourselves worldwide to values like customers' orientation, quality, innovation, and sustainability. ARGO-HYTOS Group is a global organization with 5 production companies in Germany, Czech Republic, India, and China. With about 1,400 employees worldwide, we make a turnover of 174 million euro annual. And we have, beside our own ARGO-HYTOS sales companies and production companies, also a strong network of dealers and distributions. At ARGO-HYTOS Germany, we have at the moment 450 employees, and at ARGO-HYTOS Germany, everything will be designed and produced what have to do with filters, filter systems, filter elements, special plastic, hybrid technology for tank solutions and sensors. We have a very modern robotic supported production, very modern and new filter element production and assembly. And looking on our product portfolio, we have at least everything what is needed in the hydraulic world, beginning with starting with suction filters. Now I can use also with suction filters, return filters, of course, pressure and high filters, high pressure filters up to 600 bars and 1,000 liters, air breathers, clocking indicators, everything what is needed in the hydraulic world, and of course, our core technology, the filter elements. At ARGO-HYTOS Czech Republic, we have at the moment 630 employees, and at ARGO-HYTOS Czech Republic, everything is developed and produced what has to do with valves, manifolds, and power packs, beside our ARGO-HYTOS India facility, which I will come in the following slides. Also here we have a very modern and robotic supported production. We have a lot of test and assembly facilities, and of course a strong quality management. The product portfolio I shortly want to show you. We have at least also all what is needed in the hydraulic valve with different kind of valves, different functions. That means we have directional control valves, proportional valves, valves in sandwich design, C-top valves from size 4 to 25. We have cartridge valves, we have slip-in valves. That means with all these valves, we are able to design and also to produce hydraulic integrated circuits. That means systems for our customized systems for our customers. ARGO-HYTOS Coimbatore is located in Coimbatore with about 140 employees. ARGO-HYTOS India is the center of excellence filtration in Asia. It's a global manufacturing hub for light line filters, and there is a design and manufacturing for both. That means for filtration and for fluid motion solutions. Our strong management team at ARGO-HYTOS India make sure that we can give the best support to our customers locally in India. Also at ARGO-HYTOS India and Coimbatore, We have a very nice production area with filter element production, treating machines, filter element assembly, of course, also filter assembly in nearly clean room conditions. We have a manifold machining and, of course, a testing area, which all this manifold and valves can be tested very well before shipping to the customer. The design capabilities of ARGO-HYTOS India is our at least full-fledged design team. We have customized software we are calling PARO for manifold design locally. We are working with a CAD system, 𝐿, which is compatible to nearly all other CAD systems. And of course, we have a very strong and close cooperation between our design team at ARGO-HYTOS India and our global engineering support team at ARGO-HYTOS Germany and Czech Republic. The manufacturing capabilities are hydraulic filters assemblies, filter elements with different medias, with different filter finesses, some hydraulic valves, and of course, manifold solutions. ARGO-HYTOS India have also a strong distribution network over the whole India. We have different sales offices and, of course, regional sales managers, which make sure that we can give the best support to our customers. Looking on the specific wind power application, ARGO-HYTOS India is similar to ARGO-HYTOS Germany, able to produce filter systems for pitch control and brake systems, beginning with suction filters, return line filters, pressure filters, high pressure filters, but also designing and producing lubrication systems for main gearboxes in wind turbines. Of course, starting with element design and a customized lube oil system according specification. Very important, and I think this is a big part or an important part when we are talking about sustainable engineering, to make sure that we are engineering some products which we have a local sourcing and assembly to avoid long shipments from the components from one continent to another one. And also the core business or the core technology inside the filter systems will be developed at ARGO-HYTOS India for the India market. That means filter elements for the after-sales market we are calling light line. These elements will fit all, of course, ARGO-HYTOS original systems, but also other brands to make sure that the spare part business from our customers is always covered. Our colleagues from ARGO-HYTOS India have made a good job in a lot of cases, and here are some examples. They have won some awards from our customers like JCB in the States, from Ayat in India, and they have won also awards from the organization by Worldwide Media in 2020 in the categories quality and CSR. So congratulations to them. When we are talking about products and also sustainable engineering, we want to have a look on the different parts of ARGO-HYTOS products. And we are starting with the high performance filtration, which is standing for high availability. ARGO-HYTOS is developing in Germany as well in India all the filter systems which are needed for pitch control and brake systems, beginning with suction filters, ending with high-end, high-pressure filters up to 600 bar and 1000 liter per minute in a lot of different versions. Then, of course, we have the development and production of high-performance filter systems in lubrication circuits for main gearboxes, mainly customized lube oil units, and very special is also the pressure relief valve and check valves, which we have designed especially for the windmill industry. I will mention it also later on. The core technology are the elements which we are producing and developing for the after-sales market in different medias, and also these elements will fit the ARGO-HYTOS original systems, but also other brands to make sure that the spare part business is going on for our customers. To make a summary of the benefits of the high performance filtration products from ARGO-HYTOS, I mean, one point is the high availability. For this point, I want to explain on the next slide a little bit deeper. With our newest technology, we will reach every time a high clearness class level, and that's because of that we reach a maximum of component protection against wear and failures, and we make also sure that the after-sales business will be in the hand of our customers with, for example, private label filters. That means we can print also the logo from our customer, some other information, a QR code or whatever on the outside of our elements. Looking on the high performance loop oil systems for gearboxes, there are some different possibilities. As mentioned before, we mainly have customized solution with more or less simple inline filters, but usually our customer demand also some functions like electrical motor and pump, plus some valve functions. This is one example of a 2 megawatt and a 3 megawatt turbine. But one of our highlights is also the most compact design of a lubrication oil unit or filter unit, which it is possible to assemble the valve block, which is very compact, assembled directly to the gearbox and avoid any additional hoses or fittings or whatever. Very special also are the design of our pressure relief valves. These pressure release valves and check valves, these valves we have designed especially for windmill application because of the valves which we found on the market for this market always have a very high pressure drop, and with these valves we can avoid a high pressure drop, we can save energy and whatever. So this is a special design we have made for wind power application. And of course, spare part elements interchangeable also to other brands. Looking on the core technology of each filter system, we are using the latest glass fiber technology from ARGO-HYTOS. We are calling XR4MAX3. This new element generation was designed also with the spirit of let's say sustainable engineering, or let's say less pressure drop, high dirt holding capacity, and so on. And beside our high performance glass fiber technology, we are using also an innovative hybrid support fabric for optimized power density. The effect of this will be that we increase the dirt holding capacity in conjunction with reduction in pressure losses up to 50%. What does it mean? Due to this optimized performance, we could extend the service time, or, and this is important, looking on the spirit of sustainable engineering, we could downsize the filter systems of current running series products, and avoid to use too much material and resources. So this is one point, one thing we would like to point out. And additional to that, we have a safety operation with this newest generation because of a high collapse pressure and high reliable beta value stability shown like here. That means an always stable filter ratio overall the whole service time of the filter element. It is very important for the safety operation in each wind turbine. Talking about motion control. Motion control is standing in our world for valves and And talking about ARGO-HYTOS products, we are also talking about safety operation. For windmill application, we have at least all valves which are necessary for pitch control and brake systems. We have check valves, directional control valves, pressure control valves, flow control valves, special function for pitch systems. We have also directional controls valves with soft shift function. We have certified pressure control valves. And last but not least, we have also a new generation of proportional valves, which can be used in that industry out of the catalog or customized. And customized, it means we can adjust the hydraulic and electronic interfaces and functionality to other brands. The benefits of ARGO-HYTOS valves in general, they are tight and leakage-free. The low pressure drop compared to others promise a high efficiency. Beside these benefits, we have in general high corrosion protection, then high lifetime cycles guaranteed up to 10 million cycles, which means also high availability, and the reproducibility rate is very high for all valves, especially also important for the proportional valves we are using in the pitch control application.
Yeah, just to interfere, we have another 3 to 4 minutes for you. Yeah, please. You have another 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, please. Thank you.
Yeah. High protected electronic against vibration, dust and humidity, fast reactions, and so on. I think these are the most important benefits for these kind of valves. In summary, we can tell that benefits of our valves and filter systems in windmill application with our ARGO-HYTOS products are high reliability and economical operation. Looking on conditioning monitoring, this is a very important item. Looking on offshore industry, we are talking about protective maintenance. ARGO-HYTOS has developed and produced particle monitors, like here an onboard particle monitor, to make sure that every time or always the customer is informed about the oil clearance class level. We have the same as a portable unit. On the red colored side, we have a very important new conditioning sensor or sensor for oil conditioning. This is used also in the offshore area, and these sensors help to monitor the oil aging process and to optimize the service. And this is also a kind of sustainable engineering, because these kind of sensors help to increase the oil service time much. But that means the main motivation of conditioning monitoring is to reduce the operation costs. With the help of conditioning monitoring, that means avoid unplanned downtime. We want to increase availability, improve planning of service measures, optimize spare part sourcing and stocking, extend machine service life, and increase safety for machine operator. And finally, we are using we have an economical operation because of high performance spare parts. Everything what you have learned now, because of our OEM components like the proportional valves, filters, sensors, and so on. This is the same we have for the spare parts. That means using our ARGO spare parts is more or less a guarantee for a long service time. So we would like to show you shortly, or finally, a short movie. Okay. It seems that it does not work. Okay. Could you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you very much. We make your product better worldwide. We want to make the world a little bit better with our daily spirit of sustainable engineering. That means sustainable engineering is for us not only a word, it's a strategy and it's the spirit which we try to live with. So many thanks from the ARGO-HYTOS team for your attention, and we are looking forward to receive your question and your requests. Thank you very much also to the VDMA for that nice
Thank you.
event.
Thank you, Mr. Webling. Thank you very much for an interesting presentation touching various facets of application of the ARGO-HYTOS in general engineering as well as in the conventional and wind energy sector. So before I invite our next speaker, Mr. Arvind Tekur, I would go for quickly the second poll questions. Can I have the second poll, please?
Pardon me? Oh, okay. Ah.
Yeah. So according to your perception, what actions will help to boost the renewable energy sources in India? So there are three choices given: subsidies, increase in tariff, encourage make in India. So we wait for a few moments and we take the views from the audience and see the results. Yeah, can I have the results? Yeah, 51% say encouraging make in India. That's a very encouraging statement. 37% also consider the subsidy is also one of the key ingredients to make the renewable energy increase the share actually. So just now I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Arvind Tekur, for his presentation on the significant contribution of HARTING in the renewable energy sector. Over to you, Mr. Tekur.
Thank you very much. So give me a moment. Let me just share my screen.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, just if you can acknowledge.
Yes.
Is my screen visible to you?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So good afternoon to all, and first of all, let me thank VDMA for this excellent seminar and giving us an opportunity to partner with you. And this partnership will continue and will definitely help mutually. And I also wish to thank VDMA for giving me personally an opportunity to be among the panelists. And I hope the presentation from HARTING will definitely be interesting, and maybe this could be more informative. And I look forward to inputs and questions at the end of this presentation. So the topic was basically about sustainable engineering, and we at HARTING are looking at the sustainable engineering in a very serious way. And what we do is we understand sustainable engineering as a simple, like a target application where we have a product or an application which is decided, which you understand and can be used. And when you consider a sustainable engineering aspect, you look at both the technical and the non-technical aspects at the design stage itself, which helps you to look at the solution or the product or the solution or the application being taken care at a sustainable level. And then you look at a solution which you provide with a very long life. And maybe, since we are talking about renewable energy, we talk about, very high or infinite life. And then we also look at, a sustainable engineering as a forum, and or maybe an opportunity for all the engineers and the technocrats to come into a common platform. Because normally what happens is when we talk about any kind of a forum where we always first look at engineers, but sustainable engineering today, we at HARTING feel not only the engineering fraternity would contribute, it would be the engineers and maybe the non-engineers also contributing their knowledge and skill too. And what we are looking at is basically the sustainable engineering. What we have, I mean, what we consider is today's requirement and maybe today's needs, and we also look at one more step ahead of what could be the future and what could be the requirement which would make this product or the application more sustainable and maybe the solution which we offer. So what we are what we in HARTING look at is whatever the sustainable engineering aspect which we consider would probably not only look at the customer perspective, would also contribute towards benefiting the environment, economy, as well as society. Now, when we go forward, looking ahead, when we look at sustainability, we in HARTING look at three aspects, and mainly the environment, society, and economy. And when we look at the economy part, we look at the parameters like the demand creation, the long-term planning. Then we look at the increase of the market value. Then we look at opportunity for cost optimization. Then we also look at we contribute or maybe an opportunity for this contribution towards society for the health and safety, job creation. Then we look at a knowledge exchange between the various fraternities or the groups. Then obviously, of course, law and ethics playing its role, a very important role in the sustainability with respect to the parameters as far as the society is concerned. Now, ultimately, what we are looking at is the sustainability contributing towards the quality of life of the entire group of people who are associated with this particular activity also is concerned. The other important driver as far as HARTING is concerned, we consider environment to be the driver, very important part which is involved in driving the society and the economy parameters. And when I look at the environment part, we look at parameters like the pollution control, which is very, very essential. We look at energy efficiency, which is very important today, and today that is the key, one of the key parameters which are required and sought for. And then we look at the carbon credits, and that's a very important part which all of us today, all the governments, I mean at a government level, or any of the customer requirements which they always talk about. This is something in the forums. They talk about the carbon credits and the process integration. I mean, when we look at it, we look at the different processes which are involved in this process of achieving the sustainability, and we look at the forum or maybe a platform where the various processes are brought into one platform and integrate. So ultimately, if you look at it, the future as per HARTING is mainly dependent on environment. So environment playing a very, very key role as far as achieving the sustainability is concerned. Now, we heavily speak about environment. We stress about environment, and when you speak about environment, renewable energy plays a very vital role as far as. And why renewable energy? Because today, if you look at it, as my co-speaker was mentioning about some of the fires and some of the hazards which are happening and affecting on the the environment and the pollution, we find that renewable energy to a large extent could reduce and could contribute in reduction probably of this greenhouse effect and greenhouse gases which are because of this greenhouse effect. And we also look at a situation where the energy, the energy which is produced becomes more system resilient, and energy which is accessible to all, reachable to different, not only available only to the urban part, maybe to the rural and deep inside, and make it affordable. And we look at also a renewable energy contributing towards the environment by combating the climatic changes, which again my co-speaker was reiterating and stressing about, climatic changes. And the most other important thing is, the energy which produced could be at a very, very affordable prices, because today what we are looking at is energy for all. So this is what is the role which we in HARTING feel is very important towards environment, and we feel that these are some of the important parameters which the renewable energy is contributing and is the key towards achieving to the sustainability is concerned. Now, when we speak about the renewable energy, like as my co-speaker was, stressing about the various types of renewable energy like the solar, the wind, and maybe tidal, and I mean there are a number of other methods which are being used today. But we in HARTING talk about mainly the wind, and we feel that wind has a big contributor. I mean, not to forget, of course, the solar part. And why? Because of course the most of the parameters which are important as far as the wind is concerned is already covered, but I just would reiterate again, probably the amount of gigawatts which India has the capacity to produce this. And India, as we all know, are in the 4th position in the wind energy production after China, United States, and Germany. And we have a very huge installed capacity. And all of us know that as such, if you look at it in today's scenario, 55% of the production of the electricity are through renewable energy, but it's not enough. I mean, we have quite a lot of scope to enhance, and probably government is looking at various policies and guidelines and trying to support in enhancing the renewable energy as a method for making it free, affordable energy, and maybe making it more reachable to the various parts of India. And of course, one point which probably when we speak about wind is of course the initial investment. But with the government policies coming in, we look at we in HARTING feel that it would be it would become a great investment proposal with the ROIs improving. And you could always look at the CAGRs. The CAGRs are very encouraging, and I feel that CAGR with this encouraging policies from the government would be more and more lucrative and more worth seeing as far as the wind is concerned. Now, not to forget, when we talk about the role of renewable energy today is also playing a very vital role in the e-mobility. We feel that we in HARTING feel that e-mobility is a buzz. It's no longer a buzzword or so, and it is definitely going to play a very, very vital role as far as we in India is concerned. And very ambitious targets, as you can see. It is expected that we may beat China in terms of the number of vehicles which we will be targeting to sell as far as maybe the year 2030 is concerned. And when we sell it, when we look at the sales of the EV and the contribution of the various segments of vehicles, maybe the 2-wheelers or the 3-wheelers or the 4-wheelers or the buses or maybe the other heavy vehicles are concerned, what we would look at is probably EV would definitely help in one side reducing the fuel cost, which my fellow co-speaker was mentioning about, that yes, the onus is on us to reduce the fuel import bill. Probably the FDIs, the foreign exchange, save our foreign exchange. But on the other side, what we look at is the increase of the electric vehicles would have a higher electricity demand, and there would be another phenomena which would be happening where you have the peaks, and maybe some parts of the day where you have the peaks, and some part of the day where you have the normal average load being taken. So how would this get covered, or how would this get catered to would be a question. And then would be a situation where you would look at new type of technologies, probably the storage units being adopted, the technology of storage being adopted, and this being used at during the off peak, or maybe the peak hours, being catered by this storage units, because we have also seen that in many of the countries today they have the container kind of a concept where you have the battery banks which are stored and probably being used as the backups. So probably this this technology would catch up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we have 3 minutes to take. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so EVs would probably be a growth opportunity for generation, and this would also be a very kind of equipment, probably material handling also could be taken care of. So what we are looking at is these utilities would encourage the EV owners to charge up their vehicles using the solar and the wind. So we at HARTING is a company which was started in 1945 with greater than 5,000, more than 5,000 employees with 14 production plants and 44 worldwide subsidiaries, and our headquarters being in Espelkamp, Germany, and it's a 100% HARTING family-owned company, and we are the market leaders in the connectors and the connectivity solutions. Our production plants spread all over the India, and as I sit here, we have the manufacturing plant in Chennai, and our lifeline is mainly on the data, signal, and power. We have the connectors and the connectivity solutions catering to these markets, and we are a well-known company in our field. We have been awarded with the various certificates and memberships by all the well-known authorities, and we've been awarded for our company has been awarded with the various other citations, and we have the certification. Our products are certified by various standards, acceptable by various customers, and catering to different heavy-duty applications. And we at HARTING are today, achieving. We have not lost sight, and we are looking at sustainability, and we follow the trends, and we are looking at today a situation where we are planning for the 2030, and we have at HARTING we have a very climate-friendly policy where we have our own generation. We use our own we use the renewable energy sources to generate, and this renewable energy powers up our own plants. And we have the moment inside the plants are with the electric vehicles. In fact, the government has awarded us for that. Now, just to give you a glimpse of the application, the products and the products which cater to various applications. As I mentioned to you, we are the market leader in connectors. We have various solutions also, which include the cable harness and the different type of solutions which we offer. We cater to the solar applications, different type of connectors and sensors, current sensors, etc. We offer it for the solar application. We also have the ready solutions for the blind mating concept in the battery storage application. We have the connectors which are mounted on the batteries, which is suitable for the charging application. I mean, number of charges and discharges, and exposed to probably the acidic and the other atmospheres. Then we also have the solutions for the wind. In fact, many of the solutions which are developed by us are very, I would say, we are the first in that. And if you look at the entire windmill, if you per se, when you take, we have the solutions right from the tower, bottom of the tower to the top of the windmill, and at every stage. These are some of the pictures of the assemblies and the product components which we offer for the windmill. Since due to the constraint of time, I will not get into deep. I'll just run through this. And this is probably this is the slipping solution, which is unique and developed by HARTING. Then we have the solutions at the generator level. Then you have the solutions at the yaw motor level. Then we have the solutions at the boxes, the control panels, which are at the top, as well as at the bottom of the tower. Then we have for the solutions for the cables assembly solutions for the beacon lights, and we also have the solution of the for the LED tower lights inside the towers. Then, last but not the least, we are into the EV charging application. We offer the charging for the AC as well as the DC. We have the slow chargers, we have the fast chargers, and we have the complete solution of the charging guns, which could be for the applications like the car, maybe for the two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and then we could have the heavy-duty applications like the trucks or maybe the bus. So if you look at it, HARTING is complete with solutions, and the solutions which we offer, the product and the solutions which we offer are sustainable, and sustainability is something which is inbuilt in all our products and solutions. So with this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much, and
thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tekur, for a very insightful presentation, giving different applications of the HARTING in wind energy and as a renewable energy also. Now, friends, before invite our last speaker, Mr. Chaturvedi, we would like to take the third poll questions.
Mr. Rai, the video needs to be played.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tekur, for a nice video also. Now, friends, I invite our last speaker, Mr. Chaturvedi, but before that, we'll go for the third poll questions. Can I have the poll question, please? Yeah, among the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, which is known as, which one refers to climate action? Goal 6, Goal 13, Goal 11, and Goal 17. Let's see how the response from the audience come. Their awareness will also show here how they respond and what is the correct answer to that. We'll wait for a few moments and then we'll get the result. Yeah, can I have the results now? Okay, results is 32% is saying goal 13, 39% is goal 11, 17, goal 17 is said by 12%. Okay, now it's my pleasure to invite our last speaker, Mr. Nikhil Chaturvedi.
Sandeep, correct answer is
goal, sir.
The correct answer is 13 actually.
Goal 13, yes, 32%, yes, goal 13. Now I invite our last speaker, Mr. Chaturvedi, for his presentation on the digital transform in renewable energy.
All right, could you please give me the control for presentation?
Yes, yes, just hold on.
And are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, just put it in that. Yes, it's in full screen now.
Okay, all right. So, hello everyone. First of all, thanks a lot to the VDMA team for giving us this opportunity to come and present and share insights. My previous speakers have already spoken about sustainability, the macroeconomic aspect, strategy for renewable energy, and a lot about engineering. So I would like to draw your attention to three things. First of all, what role are digital and IT technologies playing in improving sustainability situation and promoting renewable energy? Secondly, I would also like to draw your attention to what a utility is going through, an energy utility, how their role is changing as the situation evolves. And thirdly, share some insights with you about what other global utility energy companies are doing by adopting IT and digital technologies. So let's start with it. So first of all, as you would have seen, there are a lot of transformation drivers nowadays in terms of decarbonization. Deregulation is happening in most of the countries now. Some have already completed. Decentralization is happening, as in there are so many power generators emerging because of renewable energy. Efficiency has become more and more important from cost as well as from environmental perspective, and digitalization is helping all the companies in improving their efficiencies. So how are the utilities shifting and how is their role changing? They are not just energy generators and sellers. They are now becoming full service providers, because they have to now manage the entire portfolio. There are a lot of prosumers or consumers who are also producing, who are coming into the picture, so they need to balance the entire grid. So that's a very big change taking place now, and with a lot of micro grids emerging, the role of transmission, load distribution centers and utilities on the whole is changing significantly. Many utilities are working on how to monetize the data, immense data of users that they have, and this is where technology, digital are playing an important role. And as other speakers mentioned earlier, this e-mobility is changing their ecosystem completely. Now utilities need to work more closely with car manufacturers, with the charging station providers and operators, and with a lot of downstream oil and gas companies who are setting up their energy charging, EV charging stations in their gas stations or petrol pumps. So to cater to the needs of energy utilities, we provide very comprehensive software. It is said that globally 70% or more than 70% of the transactions happening in global business pass through SAP system in some or other manner. So we tend to provide an end-to-end solution for utilities, right from their supply optimization to maintenance projects, capital projects, to actual meter reading, managing the data which is coming out of the meters, and then management of the customers, the end users, and at the same time managing the entire portfolio, right from human resources to finance to procurement and all the other support functions. We have also launched a program called Climate 21. It's basically about the climate action for 21st century and the SDG goal 13 that we discussed. So we are following that goal and trying to provide all the transparency in terms of carbon dioxide as well as greenhouse gases emissions at the enterprise business level, and then at the operational level, and also in terms of consumers getting more information about products and their carbon dioxide or GHG rating. So for example, in some countries you get electronic items or electrical items which have 3-star, 4-star and 5-star ratings. We are moving into a stage to support equipment manufacturers and consumer goods manufacturers for being able to rate their sustainability or their greenhouse gases emissions. So this will become a very big motivation for consumers to buy those products which have higher sustainability rating. So with that background, I would like to share some examples with you on what globally companies are doing in terms of digital and IT. So Arctic Wind, many of you may have heard about this organization. On this planet Earth, the northernmost wind farms are run, operated and maintained by this company called Arctic Wind. So in their wind farms, what they were facing was that there was no possibility, no way to monitor the conditions of the windmills and remotely control their operations and maintenance. So what they did was, with our help, they got the IoT sensor feed into the database and did a finite element solving program using SAP solutions to see how the wind conditions, weather conditions will affect the strength of the windmills and all the components available. So this actually helped them in reducing their maintenance cost and improving the quality of the overall operations. Then many of you may have heard about this company Dong Energy. So they started with oil and gas and power businesses, but gradually they have phased off their oil and gas or fossil fuel businesses and now are mainly focusing on renewable energies. So similarly, in their case, we help them in creating a mobile-based maintenance solution so that the technicians can carry all the information about the equipment and the history of maintenance of those equipment on their mobile devices. This is very significant because it helps them in saving time in coming back to the office again and again and referring to the engineering drawings, etc. But now they have the entire history of maintenance on those equipment on their mobile devices, and they can do video calls with the experts sitting in remote locations and maybe turn around the mobile phone or the iPad that they have and show the condition of the equipment, and at the same time get expert advice from anywhere available remotely. So again, this helped them in improving the efficiency of their maintenance workforce. Then I would also like to share with you an example about EDF Energy. All of you know it's a very big company in the area of renewable energy as well as conventional energy. This is a classical example of IT and OT convergence. So how they have integrated their information technology and operations technology using SAP solutions. So if you see carefully, there is a lot of sensor data coming from windmills, which goes into an OSI soft PI or historian system. This is brought into a central SAP HANA database, which is a very fast and real-time database. Also, there is a lot of ERP, business, commercial related data which is coming over here. And at the same time, there are many internal and external data sources. That data is also coming here. And the geological mapping data, whether it's from SRE systems or from Google Maps, etc., can also be brought in here. So this is a unified integrated repository of the data, which is used for their maintenance scheduling, execution purposes, etc., and also to generate dashboards, business intelligence, and so on. Their objective was to have a unified business intelligence and operational intelligence coming into the same type of system. So this has helped them in generating various types of charts and histograms and pictures, and do really see it on a geographical map to see what is the situation of my power generation sites, whether conventional or renewable. In this case, it refers to renewable energy sites, solar farms as well as wind farms. They can also do turbine comparison in terms of efficiency, uptime, etc. And with a lot of historical data analysis, time series data analysis, to see based on the wind speed, how has the power generation varied. So these kinds of analysis are have been utilized by them coming out of the SAP system. So there are many ways of analyzing data, benchmarking data, and comparing, all with an objective to improve it from performance and cost efficiency point of view. And the last example is of about Kaiserwetter. They are themselves not a renewable energy company, but they have established a platform called Aristoteles using SAP solutions. So this platform is accessed by investment companies, investment funds, private equity investors, or banks, etc., who otherwise have no capabilities to view what's happening in those renewable energy projects where they have invested. Okay, so this platform has heavily been subscribed by those financial companies as well as by the top managements of those wind energy companies or solar energy companies. And what they do is they provide the data which is gathered using IoT sensors, combine it with the commercial data and financial data, and provide a comprehensive dashboard with techno-commercial information at the same time, also bring in the meteorological data or weather related data. So those big data management combined with very user-friendly analytics and dashboards is something which has been achieved by them. So that is the last slide of my presentation. And now I would request Mr. Manohar to share and display the video that about 𝐾𝐳. Mr. Manohar, could you please play?
As many as 1 million people are suffering from the effects of climate change caused by global warming. Hanno Schoklich, founder of Kaiserfeta, acts goal-oriented to face this challenge.
So thank you very much. I think we had some excellent presentations. We had, I think, Mr. Keruka, the keynote address from Mr. Keruka. Mr. Keruka, are you with us? Okay. And then we had, yes, thank you, Mr. Keruka. So we had a very interesting keynote address from Mr. Keruka, and I think also thanks to Mr. Vaiblinga, Mr. Arvind Tekur, and Mr. Nikhil Chaturvedi for the excellent presentations. Friends, we are running a little short of time, but maybe quickly I would like to take one question. I would like to address one question to each of the speakers today. Mr. Keruka, if I may start with you. The government is giving a lot of focus on renewable energy, Mr. Keruka, and also the recent production-linked incentive scheme for PV solar cells. So would all this help to give a boost to the renewable energy, or let's say specifically to the solar energy, Mr. Keruka? Yeah, you're muted, Mr. Keruka. One minute, Mr. Keruka. We'll just unmute you. Yes,
yes,
Mr.
I'm.
Keruka? Yeah.
Sorry, I've been muted so far, so I'm sorry I couldn't answer your questions. Yes, the PLI scheme is certainly going to be of use. It's meant to be really, it's meant to support very large players, and large players have moved in now. We already had Mr. Dani, now Mr. Ambani has come in as well. So these are large players, and there's talk about Coal India as well coming in. So I believe that the PLI scheme is going to make its presence felt. The other things, of course, are the decision to import a basic customs duty on the import of cells and modules. And I believe that we do have a situation where in the world's largest producer of solar components, there is a lot of subsidization going on. And therefore, it's only fair that this is sort of compensated by tariff barrier in India. So I'm very positive about the long-term prospects of production of solar components in India and thereby solar modules as well.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Keruka. Nikhil, coming to you, we saw from your video also condition monitoring, how it is being used in locations which are difficult to reach also, Nikhil. Nikhil, in brief, maybe if the companies have to go for this digital transformation strategy, what would be your short piece of advice for companies in renewable sector who are looking at digital transformation strategies?
Sure, very good question. Digital transformation is different from IT-led transformation, which was typically ERP implementation that we have been doing. My advice is that we should look at a three-dimensional strategy for digital transformation. First of all, try to reimagine business models on how digital can help you in getting into new areas, diversifying, expanding into new territories. Secondly, reimagine your business processes in terms of how we can improve safety, production efficiency, etc. And thirdly, reimagine the work style on how we can provide more mobile interfaces, UIs to human beings, how we integrate information technology and operations technology. So I think this three-dimension model would be very handy in designing DT strategy.
Right. Thank you, Nikhil. Mr. Vaibinga, coming to you, are there any plans or immediate plans to produce hydraulic and loop oil components for wind energy? You have the plant in Coimbatore. So is plans there to increase production in Coimbatore catering to the wind energy sector?
I mean, what I have shown in my presentation is we have a full-fledged manufacturing factory with a development team. We have, so that means currently we make hydraulic filters and some types of valves. That is what we are doing the last 13 years, at least for in general, but also for wind industry. It's possible immediately. And looking on specific things like, for example, loop oil systems, we have now a design team there. We have the possibility to start the projects immediately with our customers to design these loop oil systems and, of course, to go into production with our local sourcing possibilities. So that means we have all possibilities and we are ready to do it.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Vaibinga. Arvind, coming to you, you showed this very nice, I think, slide where we saw the applications of HARTING for the windmills. Now, basically, Arvind, reaching how easy or difficult is maintenance in these conditions, Arvind?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a typical windmill, it would normally be installed at a very remote location. Normally, the windmills are, installed at the sectors where you have the potential for wind. And the most important point is that the windmills are maintained. I mean, the people prefer to have non-maintained kind of thing because it's very expensive for you to maintain staff over there, people to monitor. So, as Mr. Nikhil was mentioning, there's a lot of technology improvement which is provided today, where you monitor through web servers or so, and you try to monitor that and do the maintenance and all. But from HARTING perspective, what we have done is we have had about 35 to 40 years of experience, and we have been very closely associated with all the OEMs, windmill manufacturers, and we have been co-development partners with them. We have developed a lot of solutions for them, and we've developed locally these solutions. We've been working with a lot of their teams, the design teams and maybe the project teams, and we work very closely, who share their experiences. And if you look at today, we have been very successful, and we've been able to achieve the market leadership because we've been able to deliver the product and the solutions which give them life. Because if you take a typical windmill, we are looking at a lifespan of more than 25 years, and we've been very successful. And that's something HARTING has been able to achieve. And even today, if you look at it, one of the, I mean, in the poll question also gave me a lot of, I was very happy to see some of the answers like Make in India concept. And today, Make in India concept is catching up, and we've been very successful. HARTING India has been very successful today in developing solutions for many of the OEMs who are decentralized and developing machines for India. And today we are in a position today that any of the OEMs who are bringing in new generation of machines and with new features, we have a ready-made product solution available to them, and we are quite I'm very happy to say that these are sustainable, and these are solutions which are suitable for non-maintained solution. I mean non-maintained kind of applications. So HARTING has been very successful, and HARTING is definitely, this is there, and this would be an ongoing process.
Very good, and wishing you also further success, Arvind, in these endeavors. Let me come to Mr. Weiblinger. Mr. Weiblinger, now Germany has made quite a lot of strides in renewable energy, be it wind energy or solar energy. What has been the reason? Has it been more like we saw here in India? Has it been the incentive from the government side or the awareness of the people towards green energy?
The line was now a little bit bad. Could you repeat the last sentence from the question, please?
Right. Mr. Weiblinger, what I wanted to understand from you is Germany has made a lot of strides in renewable energy. What would you say has been the main reason for that? Is it the incentives being given by the government, or is it the awareness of the public and their tendency to go towards green energy?
I think it's both. I think, yeah, of course. So I think this is a factor of both, or a symbiosis of both, and yeah.
So it's both. You feel the government role as well as the initiatives from individuals or their tendency towards green energy, awareness for green energy.
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Weiblinger. Mr. Keruka, now, as we have seen, we are actually going to miss the targets of renewable energy in India, whether we are talking about 2025 also. It looks a little difficult. In your opinion, Mr. Keruka, why are we not able to attain the targets for renewable energy, what India has set itself? In fact, we have been very ambitious. We have set a target which is more stringent than the Paris Agreement requirements. So what is actually the impediments in attaining these renewable energy targets, Mr. Keruka?
I can speak about solar energy, certainly. And
right.
The fact of solar energy is that there are many tenders which have been bidded for and which could be supplied. And in the last 2 years, COVID has been a reason that people have not been able to execute the contracts which they had received from the government to be executed. That's the good reason.
Okay.
There are always two reasons for something. One is a good reason, one is the real reason. So that was the good reason. The real reason, something perhaps a little bit different. Many bidders, developers who bid for these projects, they bid in December 2019, right, January 2020, and they felt that after March 20 was done, prices would drop. In the international prices for solar panels would drop because the Chinese government projects, which is based on a calendar year, they end up getting completed by March. And whatever panels have to be supplied, they must be supplied in March. And then after that, nobody wants to see the panels for at least another few months, and then that's when the prices drop. So they may have been hoping for prices to drop in April, which didn't happen. Now, the reason why that did not happen was China faced its dark days of COVID beginning from January or December, and by the end of March, it was petering out. So from April, there was a revival of activity in China, April 2020. And while the rest of the world was entering into lockdown, China was rising. And when China was rising, they were buying up a lot of stuff from the local market. The prices just never ever came down after March 2020. And so the people who had already sold based on a lower price, in my opinion, failed to cover themselves. And that was at least an important part of the reason. And then we've had the second wave in India, once again, which started from time in the middle of March. And so for these reasons, we have fallen behind. The third thing is that there has been a great tussle between importers, which means developers, and the manufacturing sector in India. Post April 2020, with the incursion of the Chinese into Indian territory, the Prime Minister was very upset about that, and he wanted to go away from these massive imports and start production in India. And I think the developers didn't get it. They didn't get the passion behind his involvement in domestic production. I believe the PM is personally very involved in domestic production. He has always been involved. He's always said Atmanirbhar Bharat. But somehow, somewhere, something has happened which has not really made that happen. But now I think the fact is that it's going to happen because two of India's very large business houses have jumped into the field of manufacturing solar. So clearly they believe that Atmanirbhar Bharat is going to happen, and this subsidized import of Chinese things is going to peter down. So my personal take is that with a little bit more policy firmness seen on the ground and more realization by developers that their bread is not going to be buttered on the side of imports, it's going to be buttered on the side of domestic procurement, then I think the installations will start picking up again. I do not see any problem at all in installations actually happening. So this is a question of the price and this and that and the unrelated questions which are unrelated to actual installations and operations.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Keruka, for this explanation. Arvind, in your presentation, you also showed about e-vehicle application of HARTING products in electromobility. So how optimistic is the company HARTING about the business potential in the e-vehicle industry or electromobility sector in India?
Mr. Nath, I would like to say that we are again the starters as far as the solutions, product and solutions is concerned in the e-mobility field. We are today, I would proudly say that we developed the charging station solution for the charging stations, and we have a ready solution which is available for the fast charging, for the slow charging applications, and we also have the solutions for the residential applications as well as the commercial application. And what we have seen is, we have seen that this is the entire, the e-mobility sector is picking up, and we've seen a very positive trend as far as the Europe and other countries are concerned. And now we are slowly seeing this e-mobility, the whole spirit of e-mobility catching up in India, and we are quite optimistic. And we have already, in fact, we have already started working on this concept, and we have a lot of plans in India to expand our portfolio. And since we have a solution which is proven with many of the market leaders in the electric vehicles, like some of them who are very big manufacturers abroad, so who are also expanding their facilities in India. So we have the ready-made solution, and we want to go in. We already have plans to go for the Make in India concept as well. So we are quite optimistic about India, and we see a huge potential. We see India to be a very big market, and we see that this electric, e-mobility concept of e-mobility will be here to stay, because government is having a very strong, plans for the reduction of the fuel import bill, and e-mobility is the solution. Definitely, e-mobility is going to be there, and it is a concept which is going to be to stay actually.
Right. Thank you, Arvind. Coming to the last question, Nikhil, you mentioned about the digital transformation. Now, for larger companies, Nikhil, of course, with deeper pockets, it's a little easier. What would be your suggestion or advice for the MSME sectors who have limited financial resources, limited manpower, and limited technology outreach, Nikhil?
So that's a very good question. From MSME point of view, the first thing that they can do to manage it within limited cost is to have cloud-based strategy, because that takes away their capital expenditure and converts it into operational expenditure and makes it sizable. Secondly, with the lower IT budgets that they have, and with the limited IT manpower that they have, it is more difficult for them to have long projects of 9 months, 12 months, or 2 years. So these cloud-based solutions actually help them in, first of all, reducing the cost. Secondly, it also helps them in standardizing their processes as per global best practices. Otherwise, that era of customized ERP software implementation or digital software is gone now. More so for MSME segment who have limited budgets. So cloud is, I think, a very good option for them too.
Sure. Right. Thank you very much, Nikhil. And with that, I think we would like to conclude this session. I would like to first of all thank all our participants. Also, we had a good number of participants who participated in this very interesting webinar on a very relevant topic. And of course, I would like to thank Mr. Keruka. Thank you, Mr. Keruka. I think you added a lot of value, giving perspective on a broader perspective to this event today. And of course, the excellent presentations from all our speakers, Mr. Vaiblinger, Nikhil, and Arvind. And I would also like to thank my colleagues, Sandeep and Manohar, for putting and organizing it so well. So with that, thank you, everyone. Stay well, stay safe. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you.